Well, let's consult the manual, shall we? Season's greetings, everyone. Welcome back to the multiverse of beer and music. I am your host, Dr. Tangent, and I am pleased that you are here. As I'm sure you're probably aware, we're entering that time of year where things get festive. There's a certain joy and camaraderie that permeates the season, and I would like to be hopefully the first to wish it upon all of you. So tonight we're going to be looking at something new to the United States. This is Forged Irish Stout. This is a dry Irish Stout brewed by the Forged Brewery in Dublin, Ireland. There's some notable celebrity connection to it, which I'll get to in a moment. But first, we should talk about what is a dry Irish Stout. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Guinness Irish Stout. It's the first experience most Americans have with dry Irish stouts. But what exactly is an Irish Stout? Well, let's consult the manual, shall we? According to the BJCP, an Irish Stout is a black beer with a pronounced roasted flavor, often similar to coffee. Balance can range from fairly even to quite bitter, with more balanced versions having a little malty sweetness and their bitter versions being quite dry. Draft versions typically are creamy from a nitro pour. Important foreshadowing there. But bottled versions will not have this dispense-derived character. The roasted flavor can range from dry and coffee-like to somewhat chocolatey. So when they talk about that pour-related characteristic, often what they are referring to in layman's terms is the cascade. Put a quick example of what a cascade looks like there. The Guinness people are very into the perfect pour, and the perfect pour should have a very noticeable cascade. It's actually quite a pleasant thing to watch. But this particular Irish Stout is not from Guinness. This is from a little brewery that is based in the Black Forge Inn in Drumnach, or maybe Crumlin. There's some arguments about whether or not the inn actually sits in the suburb of Drumnach or the suburb of Crumlin, but they're both suburbs of Dublin. And an odd aside, the burbs of Dublin are often denoted and referred to simply by the city name and the area code that that particular suburb has in the city of Dublin. So in this case, it's referred to as Dublin 12. Originally, this inn, the Black Forge Inn, was called the Bentley, and it was a pub that was a very sentimental favorite of a certain Crumlin native son. You may recognize the name of Conor McGregor, the MMA fighter and boisterous personality. And he purchased what was then the Black Forge Inn in 2020. Before that time, the Black Forge Inn did have a brewery on premises that brewed beers for in-house sales, but not content with just brewing for in-house sales. Once Conor McGregor took over, they embarked on a large expansion project. And part of that project involved developing what they call a widget. In their canning process, there's actually a nitrogen cartridge inside the can that gets triggered when you open the can. When the BJCP description was talking about how bottled versions won't have that nitrous characteristic. This should. So we will see. But straight off the website and straight out of, Conor McGregor's personality, Forged Irish Stout is not here to take part. It's here to take over. Yeah. We will see. But let's take a look. Now, this may... Well, we'll see how the opening goes with a nitrous cartridge inside. Okay, that you definitely heard that, hopefully. That was a very interesting sound. Let's see if we get a cascade. A little bit. Might be tough to see in the camera. Yeah, you're not going to really see it. There was some cascade. Hopefully you can see that the head is very dense, very, very tiny bubbles, and looks incredibly creamy, which is what you would expect from a nitrogen dispensed beer. Very pleasant. Light roasty notes. Some floral hop character, which isn't out of the ordinary for the style. That's fine. That's a noble hop character. A little bit of chocolate coming through on the nose. I got to admit, the aromas are fairly muted. Maybe because the can's still pretty cold, I didn't let it warm up a whole lot. But let's dive in. That is a really good Irish stout. I'm always very skeptical of these celebrity endorsed or celebrity produced beverage items, but this is a fantastic version of a dry Irish stout. It's bitter, but not overly so. It's not killing me on the bitterness. It's listed at 4.2% and 65 IBU. I forgot to mention what Forged Brewing Company says about their beer. They say it's a beautifully handcrafted stout with hints of chocolate and coffee roasted notes. Our Forged Irish Stout comes with a built-in widget to give it the world's creamiest texture. I don't know about world's creamiest, but it's certainly a incredibly creamy Irish Stout, which you don't normally get out of a can or bottle. It has a very nice medium to medium light mouthfeel, dry finish that just leaves like a hint of black coffee and dark chocolate on the palate. It's not heavy at all. For people who don't normally drink dark beers and they look at a dark beer and they think, oh, it's going to be terribly heavy. And they hear me describe how creamy that head is and the creamy mouthfeel. And they think, oh, it's going to weigh me down. Quite the contrary. It feels almost light once you're drinking it. It doesn't feel like you're drinking anything heavy. But it still has a good medium-bodied mouthfeel. So that's unique. I was skeptical, but I gotta give it to Conor McGregor. This is a fine beer, and I certainly hope they find success in the United States and increase distribution in the United States. It's only been available in the States since October, a little over a month now at the time of recording. Really, from my understanding, only available in the Mid-Atlantic right now, the New York, D.C. corridor, Boston, obviously. And the reason I mentioned Boston was because obviously we have an easy theme to latch onto here being Irish. And I am going with a Celtic punk band tonight but they're not Irish. They're from Boston. And this band really has the Celtic folk backbone down really well for a punk band. And they're super fun, super enjoyable. But I also wanted to commemorate the season. So tonight what we're going to listen to is a Christmas song from the band the Dropkick Murphys. They're known for loud, high-energy concerts and very frequently emphasize and use bagpipes, accordion, mandolin, and penny whistle in their songs, which is a direct pull from Celtic folk music. And, well, you'll hear it in the songs. Their songs are very Irish folk influenced in their sound, in their rhythm, in their lilt, pretty much everything. And they're a whole lot of fun. So let's take a look. All right, folks. What we're going to be watching tonight is the live version of the song, predominantly because the official music video version got blocked. I didn't want to wait for the dispute process because the season is upon us. So we're showing you the live version here, but I highly recommend checking out the official music video. Link will be in the description below.
Anyway, so this is the final song of our performance. So as some people may know, probably the reason we got asked to be here in the first place, because we've been waiting to be asked for a long time, and Adam never called yet until we released a Christmas song, and then he finally said, why don't you come on down? So does anybody want to hear the Dropkick Murphys Christmas song? Yeah! All right. Does anybody here have a crazy uncle? Is anybody here the crazy uncle? Oh, I thought so. Anyway, this song's about the crazy uncle in every family. It's called The Season's Upon Us.
1, 2.
The season's upon us, it's that time of year. Brandy and eggnog, there's plenty to share. There's lights on the trees and there's wreaths to be hung. There's mischief and mayhem and songs to be sung. There's bells and there's holly, the kids are gung-ho. True love finds a kiss beneath fresh mistletoe. Some families are messed up while others are fine. If you think yours is crazy, well, you should see mine. My sisters are whack jobs, I wish I had none. Their husbands are losers and so are their sons. My nephew's a horrible, wise little twit. He once gave me a nice gift wrap box full of shit. He likes to pelt carolers with icy snowballs. I'd like to take him out back and deck more than the halls. With family like this, I would have to confess I'd be better off lonely, distraught, and depressed. The season's upon us, it's that time of year. Brandy and eggnog, there's plenty to share. There's lights on the trees and there's wreaths to be hung. There's mischief and mayhem and songs to be sung. They call this Christmas where I'm from. My mom likes to cook, push our buttons and parade. My brother just brought home another big barrage. The eyes roll and whispers come loud from the kitchen. I'd come home more often if they'd only quit bitching. Dad, on the other hand's a selfish old sod. Drinks whiskey alone with my miserable dog, who won't run or fetch, yeah, he couldn't care less. He defiled my my teddy bear and left me the mess. The season's upon us, it's that time of year. Brandy and eggnog, there's bunny and share. There's lights on the trees and there's wreaths to be hung. There's mischief and mayhem and songs to be sung. They call this Christmas where I'm from. The table said we raise a toast, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. I'm so glad this day only comes once a year. You can keep your opinions, your presents, your Happy New Year. They call this Christmas where I'm from. They call this Christmas where I'm from. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Thank you.
So, doesn't that get you in the spirit? I'm sure it does. Beer's amazing. Look at the way the head is holding up on this. You know, normally you get even a decent persistency will last about half a pint, and then the head pretty much goes away. Nah. There's still a good quarter-inch, maybe third-inch, creamy, dense tan head on that point. And boy, it's drinking good. So, you saw how the band got its name, but that might deserve a little more explanation to get off on that tangent. There was a sanatorium slash alcohol rehab center in Acton, Massachusetts from 1941 to 1971 that was called Bellows Farms Sanatorium. It was owned and operated by a Dr. John Murphy. He was a non-practicing, he never practiced medicine, but he did have his doctorate in osteopathic medicine. But he made his money in the 30s and 40s as a professional wrestler. And as a professional wrestler, he went by the name of Dr. John Dropkick Murphy. So he purchased a farm, created the sanatorium. This was back before the days of alcoholism even being considered a disease. Back in those days, it was just considered a shameful secret that you should keep quiet. But they were rumored to have some pretty famous patients at the sanatorium. And because of the notoriety of the owner, the place became known as Dropkick Murphy's rather than the much nicer Bellows Farms Sanatorium. So you saw in the video there how that name became pervasive in the Boston area, Massachusetts area, so much so that even a young Ken Casey heard older people talking about the place, and the name stuck with him. So I thought that was pretty darn interesting. I know I sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but this beer is really good. You know what else is really good? Liking this video. Subscribe. When you subscribe, hit the notification bell because I'm putting new content out all the time and I wouldn't want you to miss any of it. But more importantly, leave me a comment. Is there something you want me to know? Is there something you want to ask? Hit me up. But until next time, my friends, sláinte.